Yeah.
Happy Saturday and welcome to the Ramashram Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you will learn a modern satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Shivangi and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I would like to give you a brief overview to this satsang session. If you will direct your attention to the screen, you will see that the first element is satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our lives. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin this practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of satsang. When we meditate, our consciousness is drawn from worldly objects and directed inward to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, leading us to higher states of consciousness such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsangs, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior. But it is only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. This is the type of satsang we will learn today where we meditate in silence. Group sessions. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our spiritual progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul, but it is only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy that we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Next, the agenda for today's session consists of three parts. We will begin with a focused talk on today's topic, which is how satsang can help us cultivate mental resilience. The speaker will explore how regular satsang sessions can help strengthen our ability to handle life's challenges with clarity and calm. This will be followed by a brief practice session, which starts with music to help settle our mind. As the music fades away, we transition into deep, silent meditation, concentrating on the transcendental light. This session concludes with music to gently bring us out of meditation. This will be followed by our final part, which is the open discussion. This is where you're invited to ask questions, share reflections, or offer feedback. This is a space for exchanging experiences and insights and supporting one another in a spiritual journey through dialogue and shared understanding. And now, I would like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of satsang experience. He is the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ramashram Satsang. He was born into a satsang family where he has witnessed his family members obtaining states of enlightenment and live lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. During that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. Upon arriving in the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangis. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England, facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will teach us a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by our Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
And where does that come from? So Guru Maharaj says, you want to be physically strong. A lot of people do a lot of different things for our body to be better. He says, first, if your mental capabilities, make sure that you're mentally strong, then you will be able to do the right things for your body, and not just that, you will gain this inner strength within you that will be able to allow you to see how your self-awareness, how your orientation to serve others also gets. So when I started this English session a few years ago, pandemic was going on, it was virtual. So this year I wanted to start exploring how do we, in India we do almost 60 events in a year. We want to do English events now. Some baby steps somewhere. We have incorporated, in Toronto there will be 3 sessions, one in English. Later on, we want to see if we can do all English sessions in person. So far it has been more of a virtual journey. In person is so important. The collective energy that people felt even in the virtual sessions is like multiplied exponentially when we meet in person. In person, this collective energy, the way Murugash has set this up, we experience it ourselves. It's a multiplied effect which you have to feel it yourself. But what does it do? And I think what I'm finding is that science, neuroscience,
इसको मैसेज कीजिए ये वाला वीडियो है
mindfulness, meditation, concentration.
but he has to make that the main video.
This has been practiced for a century or more, and the philosophy that this brings together. But now science is over, neuroscience is saying that,
the phone did
and there is this concept
of WhatsApp group
resilience. If you try that, you can apply that.
The video is the main video.
So first it says is perception. Second, it's how
audio is coming from the side. I don't know how you'll be able to fix it.
Before reframing, how you accept where things are, and then
voice is not
what
clear.
action you will take. So this resilience triad, if you go into that a little bit, basically I am actually starting a podcast where we will break this down in pieces where the focus on resilience in terms of what it is made up of. So one of the things that I figured out is that what we have been doing in Satsang, what Guru Maharaj told about, meditation and this mental concentration process, is that it basically creates phenomenal mental resilience. And if you say, okay, so from a resilience triad perspective, how do you change your perception? Perception is reframing the problem that you're seeing. And this problem that has come to you, you can look at it as a challenge, as an opportunity. And how do you do that? By just asking yourself a few questions, taking a pause, really looking at it in a broader mindset. So basically, reframing is like, what's your mindset? How you are looking at the problem, and when you're looking at the problem slightly differently, you're basically engaging a different, mental frame. And what people, very, very simple things. If you take a walk, if you take a pause, if you count to 10, if you, just sleep on it and you meditate on it, what happens? Another part of the brain engages, and that's when your perception of the problem. So instead of reacting to it or just freezing, you start responding. And that's what satsang just brings in as a second nature, as a normal evolution of a person as you grow to being mindful. Second thing is, after you reframe the problem, acceptance, not denial, not that, and this doesn't exist. You accept the problem. And that is so part of the philosophy in Satsang is that you start looking at reality the way it is. When you are mindful, when you sit in Satsang, you actually get to a point where, right at the present moment, you're aware. The way you look at this problem, perception has changed, and that makes you look at this current situation in a different perspective. And then action. So until and unless you gain this inner strength through mindfulness, the ability to take some baby steps towards, solving the problem or dealing with the problem or taking some steps towards that. But the way, so am I doing the right thing? There was a formula that, one of my class fellows talked about this. Guru had described this and what happens when you do meditation, when you are in satsang, when you're doing sadhana, what happens? So he said three things you could measure. So frequency of your ups and downs, your intensity of the ups and downs, and the recovery time it takes in terms of coming back to the normal. If each of these are decreasing, so intensity and then the recovery time, they're decreasing your overhead. And that all comes as a byproduct. So we think that this is this is just a ritual. I think what Guru Maharaj has done is taken the rituals out and basically given a very simple spiritual practice now. And that practice brings in a change in perception, a way you accept the reality, and then the inner strength to act. That is basically resilience trial. And mental resilience. So I'll before we practice, I'll just give you a little bit. So initially, for in these English sessions, I talk more about inner peace, and so that was the 18th chapter in the 28th chapter 7-volume book that Guru Maharaj wrote, and then I finally, learned a lot. So I gave multiple talks on inner peace. And that was chapter 18. Then I graduated to chapter 19. So when you try to share things, you gain your own perspective. When I graduated to the 19th chapter, it was about, spiritual strength, not mental strength, spiritual strength. So Guru Maharaj took what he saw in his guru and put that down in chapter 19. First 2 pages talk about spiritual strength. The foundation of it is mental strength. And people describe it in many, many different ways in the ancient scriptures, but neuroscience talks about it in, very, very practical terms. So, self-discipline, courage, grit, self-management, emotional regulation, and all that I'm putting together as all these things need to come together as mental strength. That becomes the foundation for your further spiritual growth. So when I started looking at that, what Guru Maharaj said is, first you gain mental strength. If you don't waste that in demonstrating your mental strength to others and continue to cultivate these mental strength to gain further ground, to grow further higher up vertically, then you get strength that gives you the ability to really be even keel in any circumstances, adverse or otherwise. You don't get too happy, you don't get too sad, you lose something, it's okay. If you gain something, it's okay. So that even keel approach where you love everybody and you don't love anybody. It's that state. And literally I saw that in satsang, people who are leaders in satsang, I've seen it again and again and again, that they demonstrate this mental resilience in so many ways, and the resulting, even keelness. So basically, what I feel is that neuroscience is describing new terms, but what we do here gives us core mental strength, and if we continue to evolve through that, then we gain the ability to be in the present moment, to accept things the way they are, and stay, calm, quiet, centered in adverse circumstances and ups and downs of life. So let's practice it now. So inward orientation is step 1. Then concentration is step 2. And step 3 is deep silent meditation. So for inward orientation, eyes lightly closed, and we have to keep our bodily posture still and relaxed. And then, so eyes lightly closed and still and relaxed body posture gives us the ability to concentrate. We are inward oriented as well. And then we feel the presence of this transcendental energy in form of light, and that light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we are becoming one with this light. When mind wanders away and we realize that mind has wandered away, we bring it back to this thought and this thought alone. That this transcendental energy in form of light is right here, right now, and from this conscious source, we're getting this light into our heart, and this heart is getting enlightened, and the transcendental light is then getting completely and totally transforming us into this light itself, because the light has distributed to every part of the body. So I'll repeat it again once in English, and then before the music starts, I'll describe it in Hindi as well. So relaxed and still body, eyes lightly closed. And think of this transcendental energy in form of light that's entering our heart, enlightening our heart, and then distributing throughout our body. And we are becoming the light. If mind wanders away, just bring it back to this thought and this thought alone. That this transcendental energy in form of light is right here. And this light is entering our heart and then distributing throughout our body. We'll start with music. Music fades away, then we go deep into silent meditation. We'll continue this process and then we'll transition out with music again. I'll just describe this in Hindi too. तो हम ऐसा देखें कि परमात्मा का प्रकाश सामने से हमारे हृदय में आ रहा है, रोम रोम में फैलता चला जा रहा है और हम उस प्रकाश में लय होते चले जा रहे हैं। पहले म्यूजिक और फिर म्यूजिक के साथ हम इसको रैप अप करेंगे, शुरू करेंगे। Let's start.
to practice satsang with us. I have just a closing topic around positivity, and then I'll pass it over to my dad. So positivity is an energy and an essence that we connect with here in satsang. And when we first start practicing satsang, it might be a choice we make to connect with the light, to bring more positive energy into our daily practice, into our days. And before we know it, it becomes a lifestyle. We won't even remember what it was like to live without this higher presence and energy in our lives. And slowly but surely, we become one with it. When we come to satsang and we practice what has been prescribed, which is to meditate twice a day for 10 to 15 minutes, to be in Chintan daily, which is to remember the light, your guru, your God, your higher source of consciousness, whatever you choose to call it, and to connect with, to be one with a higher energy, to pour light into our hearts and to embody that energy, is when the process of true change begins. Not the normal process of consciously changing habits or the never-ending cycle of trying to become a perfect person, but the very energetic process that cleanses our minds, bodies, and souls, and even some of our karma, to reveal more light in our lives. But how is the light revealed? By connecting with this light constantly and moving through darkness with grace, by allowing areas of our lives that need healing and change to come up lovingly, and viewing every area of our lives, every aspect of our egos, every relationship we have, to shapeshift from what we thought it should be or how we think it should look, to fully surrendering to the process and knowing that the omnipotent presence that is moving through our lives, this higher power that we're connecting with here, is going to oversee everything and do the heavy lifting for you. We can make the conscious moves to be better people, as we should, but the energetic shift is about clearing the gunk, clearing the negative energy, clearing the thoughts, clearing what is not in alignment, and becoming so spiritually strong, so spiritually aligned that love, compassion, and peace become our birthright, and we can fully embody the light. And yes, it's a journey. It's a journey where you pass the levels and the next devils show up. But these new devils are not there to hurt you. It's to show you the next areas where your soul needs to grow, to learn, to transmute negative energy into positivity energetically. And it's there to help you realize that this illusion we're living in, Maya, is the training ground for your soul's growth. It's the place where you become so strong spiritually that you become like a mountain, that you can't move or shake out of place. Nothing can shake you anymore. You are rock solid, and you transform into a being that vibrates on the frequency of love and operates on the energy of service, because it becomes not about you or the self anymore. You transcend past self and you become one with it all. So that's my food for thought for today. Interpretation? But yeah, now we can just open up the floor to questions or comments, and my dad will be happy to answer. And if anybody online wants to come on, thank you guys for coming, and feel free to hop on now.
Like we were talking about, where does this come from? Where does it, so this question I did not hear that much in India for some reason. Here this is asked, I think, the nth time, and every time the question is slightly different. So we are having, in general, a problem in what's the source of light? What does this light look like? Do I actually see light? So yeah, so you know, and now that we are in an English session, right? So a lot of people from the West, youngsters who have not seen Guru Maharaj or lineage. So what I have done is like the one thing that I have changed this year is that I am actually going in and introducing a guided meditation. Why? Because of this question, right? So guided meditation will be the music comes on and I keep talking, right? So I will handhold the person who's meditating or people who are meditating deep into the music, and the period of silence will be shorter, but the process through which you get to the point where you are actually meditating, there will be more hand-holding. Now, but let's come back to the question itself. Why do I have to start a whole new process because 3-4 things. I think the current culture has taken away some very basic things from us. So Guru Maharaj received this light from his Guru the first day, and what he, so the first lesson he had was while they were just walking down a trail by the river Ganges, he sat Guru Maharaj down in front, and he said, so they cleaned up the ground, sat on the ground, and he said, sit in front of me. Upasana is sit in front. So sit in front of me, and then close your eyes, and he actually literally saw a light coming from Guru's heart to his heart. And that's what he packaged for us. In India, people still practice this more close to the original way. But we say, the light will be coming from Guru, from God, from any conscious source of your choice. But that is where I think visualizing is not the right word. Manifesting is also not the exact word. Embodying is probably the closest, but how do you embody something you can't even visualize? Right? How do you embody something that you're not actually manifesting? So I think the thing is that your current belief system should define a source of this transcendental light, and you think of that form in front of you in its conscious living form. So it's Krishna, it's Christ, it's God, it's Guru, a conscious form, and this transcendental light. Now, what is transcend? What transcends the world? How can I see? So, to me, it is just a process of starting a meditation on the highest ground you can imagine. That there is this source of this amazingly uplifting, positive light. And, the interesting thing is that you actually cannot see light. None of us can see light. you see my hand in that light. So you're imagining that the light, which is nothing but energy, and that positive, uplifting energy is actually enlightening your heart, and from there your entire body, and you are becoming that light. So it's not about visualizing, it's more about starting a process to go deeper within you. Where do you start? Start from the highest ground you can get. I don't know. That was the answer. This is, yeah. So anybody online wants to share any thoughts, comments, questions? Version, because we are here in person, I think we'll switch over to in person here in Hindi. So final call. So glad that we were here in Satsang. Light, love, and peace be with you. Any quick thoughts or questions? Otherwise, we'll meet again. So we meet. The English session is like Tuesdays 7 p.m. and Saturdays 10 a.m.